Okay, today we're going to be talking about direction of vectors. So get your journal out. We're going to do some graphing. Does everybody see where it says a 5 and an 8? All right, what I need you guys to do, actually you don't really need to go to graph paper. We'll just do it right here. Let's just pretend. Let's just pretend right here we have an x-axis and a y-axis. And how far am I going if it's at a 5 and an 8? This is my x component. This is my y component. So I'm going to go over 5 units, and I'm going to go up 8 units. So my vector, if I was drawing my vector, would look like that. That would be the direction of it. What it's asking for, everybody, it's asking for this measure right here called theta, the measure of that angle. If it goes up how high? 8 and over 5. All right. So can you guys picture a right triangle? I'll change colors to green. Ooh, that's kind of fancy. All right. So right here, if this is a 5 and this is an 8, and we're trying to find theta right there, what are we going to have to go back to? SOHCAHTOA, right? Trigonometry, all right? So does everybody understand that going across, going all the way across, what is the 8? Very good. That's the opposite side. And what's this side? Very good. Adjacent side. Tangent. So we're going to be using tangent. In fact, you're going to be using tangent the whole dadgum time. So I'm not going to worry about sine and cosine. We're just going to worry about tangent. So write this down. Ready? The tangent of theta equals 8 over 5. So if the tangent of your angle equals 8 over 5, the measure of your angle will equal the inverse of tangent. This is a quick little review, all right? So what I'm going to do, inverse of tangent, 8 over 5. Make sure your calculator's in what mode? Degree mode. If it's not in degree mode, get it to degree mode. How do you do that? You hit the mode button, you go over to degree mode, and you put it in degree mode. That's how you do it. So second tangent, 8 divided by 5. We press enter. Holy cow, 57.994. So right now I'm going to keep it at 57.99 for right now. Nearest hundredth. So since it said nearest hundredth, what do I have to put in right here? 57.99 because that's a 4. If that was a 5, what would I have to put? 58. So I'm going to type in 57.99. So let's see if this works. 57.99. Hey, it worked. All right, guys, next problem. By the way, remember, we're doing 4 of these. Why 4? I'll explain. So right here we're at a what? A negative 10 and a 7. So if I go back to right here, what if I go negative 10 and then I go up here to a 7? So I'm just going to still kind of use the same little area, okay? So let's say that's my negative 10 and 7. I was in quadrant what? Quadrant number 1, but now I'm in quadrant number 2. So if I draw another triangle, so I'm going over, let's see here, let's see which direction I need to go. This way, like this. Oh, wrong way. There we go. So let's say here I'm at what, negative 10, and here I'm at a 7. Where's theta? There's my theta right there. Okay? So right now, don't worry about it being a negative 10. Just leave it as a 10. So I want you to write this. Ready? The tangent of theta equals my opposite side over my adjacent side. Because remember, going across, that's my opposite over my adjacent. So what would theta equal? The inverse of 7 over 10. So I'm going to hit second tangent, 7 divided by 10. What does that say? 34.99. But this is where you got to be careful, guys. So right here, theta is equal to 34.99. But I need you guys to understand what we're looking for is from here all the way across. Remember, this is your initial side when you're dealing with this. So since we're in the second quadrant, we need to go all the way across. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 180 minus that. Very good. So we're going to go right here. We're going to go 180 minus our result. And we get 145.01. 145.01. Let me try something real quick. What if I did the inverse of tangent? I did 7 divided by negative 10. It gets what? Negative 34. But if you added 180 to that, you still get the same answer. So you need to know what you're looking for. You're looking for the angle that's in quadrant number 2. And quadrant 2 is between what? 90 to what? 180 degrees. Quadrant 1 is between 0 and 90. Quadrant 3, what's quadrant 3 going to be between? 180 all the way to what? 270. And what's quadrant 4? This is quadrant 3. What's quadrant number 4 going to be? 270 all the way to 360. So you got to figure out where your vector is going to be. Is it going to be in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4? So I got to be careful when I type this in. The answer I got to type in is 145.01. Now the next one I'm doing, I'm not going to keep going on this because we're running out of room here. Okay, so 145.01. All right. So I'm going to start this one fresh. Okay, does everybody see where we're at? We're at -5 and -8. So I'm going to start a fresh graph right here. So we're going all the way over to -5. We're all going way down to -8. So what my vector look like? It'd be in what quadrant? Let's go orange here. There we go. There's our vector going -5 and down 8. So what's our triangle going to look like? Let's see here. About look like something like that. No, no, no. We're not gonna. No, we're not gonna. We're gonna add 180 to this one because whatever angle we get right here, we'll have to add. So don't worry about the negatives right now. Let's just worry about finding theta. Okay. So remember, what's my opposite side? 8. What's my adjacent side? 5. So just put the tangent of theta is equal to 8 over 5 because this is my opposite over my adjacent side. Just remember we're using opposite over adjacent. We're using tangent. So theta, once again, equals the inverse of 8 over 5. I think we've already done that, right? What is that? What did we get for that one? think we already did in the calculator. I'll just do it again real quick. I think it was 57.99. Okay. Now, if we're in the third quadrant, what do we have to do? We actually have to add 180 degrees to it because we're in the third quadrant. So my answer is going to be 237.99. So here's what I want you guys to see. For here, we got to go from here all the way around. So if this is what we found, theta, and that's 57.99, what did I have to add to it? I had an additional 180 degrees. So I got to type in 237.99 as my answer. All I'm saying is when you're starting, I just want you to know that you're going from here to here, and then you're finishing there. So for me, yeah, I'm going all the way. This is always going to be your initial side. This is your terminal side. Okay, your initial side always starts here. Your terminal side always finishes whichever quadrant you end up finishing in. Okay, so our answer is going to be 237.99 for our answer. 237.99. All right, last one. 8 comma negative 3. 8 comma negative 3. So I'm going to write in 8 comma negative 3. I'm going to draw a little graph. There's my x and my y-axis. I'm going to draw my vector. I'm going to go over how many units? Go over 8 and then down 3, so that puts me right about there. So I'm saying this is about an 8, and then this is going down about negative 3. So there's my vector. Theta is right here. Okay? That's where theta is. Now, if you're wondering, like, where do I get theta? I always get theta with the x-axis. Theta is never with the y-axis. Theta is always with the x-axis. So when I'm trying to find my final answer, this is going to be my initial side. I'm going all the way around for my final answer to be in quadrant number 4. So if you're like, what does the triangle look like? Here's the triangle. Let's see if we can do it here. Something like that. So there's my theta right there. This right here is 3 units. This right here is 8 units. What's going to be my opposite side? 3. What's my adjacent side? 8. So the tangent of theta is 3 over 8. So theta is going to be the inverse of tangent 3 over 8. So I'm going to type that in. Inverse of tangent 3 over 8. Okay. So what do I get? 20.556. But we don't want the 20.556 because we're in which quadrant? We're in the fourth quadrant, right? So to find this, all I got to do is take 360 degrees and take away the measure of my angle. And I'm left with what? 339.44, which is going to be my answer in this particular scenario. Okay? So what I'm going to do right now, before I type this in, I'm going to give you guys a little chart that you could have in your journal to make it easier for y'all. Okay? So if you would please, just make this one little tiny chart. This should help you guys out. And all I want you guys to do is label it Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, Quadrant 4. In Quadrant 1, your answer is just going to be what theta is. In Quadrant 2, your answer will always be 180 minus whatever you get for theta. In Quadrant 3, your answer will always be 180 degrees plus whatever theta is. In Quadrant 4, your answer will always be 360 degrees minus theta. So if you have this little chart in your journal and you're trying to figure out what do I do, you find the inverse of tangent for each one of those, which is the opposite over the adjacent. And if you're in Quadrant 1, that's your answer. If you're in Quadrant 2, take it away from 180. Quadrant 3, add 180. And in Quadrant 4, do 360 minus that answer. And that will give you your, that's like a shortcut to give you whatever answer that you need. Okay? This right here was very helpful to me when I was doing these problems back in the day. Like, all right. Okay? So before I forget, 339.44, that's the final answer for my problem. And then I'll go back to that page for the notes. 339.44. 339.44. There's your 100. There's your chart. Put that into your journal. It'll be very useful. Have a good day.